Hey, welcome back to the Sons of Soul development live stream. Last time we created a list of all the possible places we could put missions on this map here. That list is totally viewable right about, not there, but here. So here's a list of all the places that missions could appear on this map. Basically, it's everywhere, but none of them are too close to each other. You can watch how we did that early in the last episode if you want. This is a scriptable object. It's going to hold these values forever. Well, unless I accidentally delete it or whatever, but it should be safe. I can also just roll back to previous versions on source control, so yeah, let's just assume that's safe. We were generating missions each day and adding new fighters each day. So I think there should be 100 fighters and a factory that produces +2 per day. Oops, we're on the wrong scene. Oh no, we're on the right scene, but I've given away something. Alright, let's go back to the main menu. I'm gonna have to create a new game. So about that. Actually, first thing I'll say, since the last time I've changed audio settings on the noise gate on the microphone for OBS, I'd noticed that it was chopping off the start of my words a lot. Basically, the attack time was too slow, even though it's the same as it used to be. It seemed like the attack time was too slow and that the noise threshold might have been a bit too high. Basically, the settings got reset from what I used to have them at when, I can't remember, was it an update or something? Just noticed that they'd been reset. So we've probably done a few episodes with bad settings. Not terribly bad, but a little hard to hear and probably annoying. If like the first half of every word I say in a new sentence gets cut off, that's bad. Flip side is now the no, it looks okay, but it might pick up background noise. I tested it earlier, but it'll pick up a little bit more background noise than it used to, but I think it should be still fine. So what we were doing was generating a fighter factory, but we were doing it every day and not keeping it around, which is not how we wanted it. We wanted to generate one fighter factory and keep it around until you kill it. And I have a bit of a surprise on that aspect. At the moment, we're still generating it every day, and it dies at the end of the day and makes a new one. So we're still getting +2 fighters every day. The text on the map didn't update, so it said 100, but there were 102, but it didn't update. But that was just the very end of the last episode. I fixed that. We were generating a number of missions every day. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll show you a few things at once, I guess. I've built a credits scene just to have. It's very bare bones, but it's there, and it'll come along if you've beaten the whole game. At this stage, beating the whole game just qualifies as getting enemy fighters to 0. So to do that, we're about to start a new game. Enemy fighters is going to be just one enemy fighter. The code that generates the factory is going to turn that into 3 because it's generating +2 every day. So we're going to see the number 3 when we get in here. Enemy fighters 3. We're going to do a mission. We're going to kill 3 and then come back to the carrier, but it's going to instantly do the credits scene because it'll detect at start that that you've beaten the game because all the enemies are dead. Oh, still having... Oh, I know, that's alright. Let me go back. It's going to detect that there's no fighters left and go to the credits. I'll make the credits skippable, get a skip button, but it'll, at the moment, it can finish the credits and go back to the main menu, and so that's technically a game loop, but we've a lot to fill in, obviously. So I'm gonna have to generate a campaign now with like 100 fighters, or else we won't have anything to play with. Because generating the new game creates a save file. So if I just play from, most of the time now I'm going to be playing from this scene, and I need to have a save file to load. By the way, on the credit scene is just, I'll show you quick. The credit scene is just, you go UI scroll view, and then it gives you this. You have a viewport with content. In the content you put the text for the credits and stuff. There's also a few more sets to this, like layout element and content size fitter, but essentially it gives you scroll bars, and the script for the credit scene is just scrolling this value from 1 to 0, so just moving up and down the list. That's everything I have to say about this scene. Once the script that does that knows that it's at 0, it just loads the main menu. So that's pretty much everything I have to say about the credit scene. No, wrong scene. Credit scene, you can beat the whole game, right? We were in the middle of doing a bit of a checklist. So we'd done these 2 parts, and these 3 parts, I think I split this out from 2 into 3 parts since the last stream, but essentially these were all the one kind of large task. We did these parts. When leaving the home base scene, persist the locations holder on the loading screen, child the locations into something to be destroyed. Essentially I didn't do it into something to be destroyed, I just destroyed them, I think. Doesn't really matter. The point is, all the missions will carry from here into the loading scene. On the loading scene, we're going to then get on with this today, save their info. So at the moment, they'll be okay if you aren't saving or loading, but if we're just playing through in the editor, but we need it to work with saving and loading. So we're going to save that info and then be able to load it back. When we load back, this is just the instructions for what we're going to do. When we're loading back to the home base, load the save missions first, then generate new missions. So this is basically going to be, the fighter factory will be not created and destroyed every day, but it's going to just create one and save it until you kill it. And once you kill it, it won't be making +2 fighters every day, and we can do missions to get the 100 fighters down to 0, and then the credits will roll and the game's over. So there'll be a lot to add to everything, but the logic will be there pretty soon. It's getting kind of exciting. Yeah, I just have to clear the code that generates the fighter factory every day, because we only want to generate it at the start and then save. Instead, at the moment, I'm generating it every day and not saving it, so it's the same result, but it's the wrong way to be doing it. So anyway, about all that, to make a change here. No, that's not right. So I think, yeah, I did show the sprite for a factory. I said I'd use it last time, that we'd build a factory to kill. I just did most of it by myself. In fact, we don't have to work on the factories today. They work, we just want to put them in a mission and kill them. Let me just see something here. Yeah, just forgot to apply that to the prefab. Okay. So we did have a problem before, actually, where... Actually, I'll explain it after I show this, because you will see it, and seeing is better than telling. Showing is better than telling. I forgot that he was going to spawn. So I hit the station with a missile. It's all very loud and hectic. Let me just redo that a bit. And I'm going to turn the shuttle off. Let's make him friendly again. So. Alright, so this art is not Sons of Soul art. It's from an asset pack, so it's placeholder prototyping art. It's fine. Also, the UI health on it there is extraordinarily ugly and also very low. It's only got 5 hit points, and the idea is just so I can kill it with one single missile at the moment. So that's a big space station, but it's actually down in the background. Here is the exact same one, just closer. So they are big enough. And if I just hit it with a missile, get this nice big epic series of explosions. It's a bit crazy, it needs a bit of tuning, but essentially that has been killed. All this debris is flying around. We were having a problem where this is from a particle system, all this debris. It was rendering like that's clearly up near you and that one's clearly really far away and getting further away. But it would sort of, the one that's below the station there, it would sometimes render it on top, and ones that are definitely close to me, it would sometimes render them underneath. That's fine. Basically change the material type to cut out. I'll tell you exactly what it was. Oh, not that. Actually, where did that come from? Oh, I know, and I don't need it. Alright, so here's the particles for debris. There, just dropped one in. It uses the material of Fred's debris particle sheet. So it's unlit transparent cutout is what I changed it to from Sprite's default. And it solved the sorting order layer. If you ever have this problem, maybe you will remember that I said something about this, and feel free to email me if you can't find the point in the video. I found it on Unity Answers, but there were a lot of solutions, so it wasn't easy to find the most convenient one. Just gonna say, yeah, sorry. It is set to render by distance billboard. It's default sorting layer, ordering layer 0, so it should be working the same as everything else because everything is on sorting layer 0 default, and it's only sorted by distance. So they should have been behaving properly, but they weren't. Let's blow this one up too. There's a bit of an issue because I have 2D colliders on these things, but really that's far away. But as far as the code cares, in 2D space it ignores the Z far away part. So as soon as it flies over it, it'll hit it. So I'm gonna have to make changes to pretty much everything in order to make it more 3D. But I don't know, that's our space station that we can kill. So what's going on with the destruction is there's no image on the main root of it. Got a destroyed version of the sprite, which in this case is just a black color of the exact same sprite, and that's physically underneath a destructible system with the main sprite, which is that one. And then there's code from the sprite mask asset on Unity 2D. So what I do is generate little byte shapes and cut out of the top layer just reveal the bottom layer. So here's a byte. It's not a transparent black sprite. It's actually an absence. Like it's what's the words I need? It cuts out of the top sprite to reveal the bottom one. That's why you don't see anything when it moves over the edge. I'm not painting black on top of it, I'm actually cutting away the top one. So if the destroyed sprite version was totally red, that's what you'd see underneath. So we let it generate a bunch of those, and then eventually blast all of it off and just leave the destroyed version. So this is taking a little bit of functionality from Sprite Mask and doing a lot of my own stuff on it. No doubt the Sprite Mask asset is the essential part of this. I wouldn't be able to do this way without writing my own shaders that I'm really bad at doing. Although I just got Unity Plus and it came with a free shader program that I haven't checked out yet. I just already own Sprite Mask, so I didn't need to check it out. We'll see, but I suppose either way you're paying for shader programs. So to do it in this way, you couldn't do it in the free version. You would need paid for assets to do exactly what I'm doing, unless you wrote your own shader, because that's the key part of it, is one particular shader and then implementing your own intelligent way around that. And no, I'm not showing the shader. Because it's a paid asset. So how are we doing? Okay. I said we'd probably work on making that, but to be honest, that took 2 days or so to make all that system. It was fun, but it wouldn't have happened in a single stream or anything, so there's a lot of figuring out to do. So now we have our Fighter Factory prefab, and it is prefabbed. So the goal is to... We're already generating a Fighter Factory mission type. Yeah, maybe save, I don't know. Also, I need to go back here and just revert that and save. Okay. So that mission is a fighter factory. That's where the 2 extra fighters per day come from. But doing that mission doesn't actually make the fighter factory show up yet. Doing all missions at the moment just generates 3 fighters. It's a bit boring. Okay. So what we need to do is, when it knows that you've selected a fighter factory mission, it needs to generate one. Okay, so we were at 102, we killed 3, we went down to 99, and then added 2 for today. So that's why you see 101 now. Okay, so what do we get from that? Now we're going to get on with doing today's episode. Actually, I'm just going to leave that up there, so just because it precedes this part, it's all part of the same job. Be able to destroy the factory on the strategy layer. I kind of already can, sort of, but to do it properly requires doing this stuff first. Okay. So when we have this, we have, just to get myself back up to speed, Oops. Right, here's a mission type, that one and this one. And what do they know about themselves? They're both revealed. The mission lifetime of the factory is -1, so it's just that I'm using that to mean infinite, that it won't expire after a day. Every other mission type will expire after 1 day. Well, 1 or 2 or 3, but the factory will stay there until it's killed. It also won't start revealed, but for now we're just going to let it start as revealed. When we carry this into the mission and the factory that you saw a minute ago, when that factory dies, it looks for this script already and it checks mission complete. So when we're on the loading screen, we're going to check mission setups, and if it's mission complete, then we will kill it. So then that means when we get back here, the factory won't show up anymore. So we're halfway implemented, but not fully. So the first thing to do is to take this one. How am I putting? Oh yeah, it's just location. The type, the mission type is fighter factory instead of patrol. Special function per day. It's adding 2 fighters a day. This mission type has 3 enemy fighters. Let's just say it had 6. Alright, so I need... Oh, I've already set it up that I can give it a special background for the mission background. Your insertion type is that you're already there. Could also have these other versions. Right. I'm gonna go in. There should be 6 enemies, but the only thing I can do with missions right now is just spawn enemies. I'm gonna have to... Yeah, there's 6. Also allow it to spawn stations or whatever else I need. I'm all out of nonsense. Call for extraction. So only 97 enemies now. The problem is here, as I said, the fighter factory just creates a new one every day, so it's moving around, and we don't want that. Alright, so the mission's setup script. It's considering whether to make a new scriptable object. Could add fighters prefabs to this. And the space station prefab to that. Yes, I think here I'm prefabbing. I've got an enemy fighter prefab. I'm gonna have to add every single type of prefab to every one of them, or I could just add the scriptable object. Do I already have the scriptable object? No, this does. Referenced here on the campaign manager script. Okay. Let's trying to figure out which one would be best to put it in, not icons. It's just sprites and audio. Yeah, I'm making you one. It'll be ship and level prefabs SO. I wasn't doing it before, but I've started naming them SO for scriptable object. Gonna have to rename that. Get rid of that. And so it's gonna need a list of prefabs for pretty much every object we have. So we have an arrow fighter. Well, we call it an assault shuttle. Stay consistent. Gonna put in good headers as well. Why not? Right, so I have my scriptable object factory script. Gives me this menu up here. Create scriptable object. There it is. I'm just going to give it the prefabs. Actually, I haven't included the player because it's a different ship. Okay. Going to be specifically the player arrow fighter. I don't know if we might wind up with other pilotable ships, like even in game intro. Like most of the game you're going to fly that, I guess, but in the intro scene I'm thinking about having you fly something else. So now each mission setup script, instead of having the enemy fighter prefab, it's going to have public ship and level prefabs SO. That's going to break code actually, so I'll have to rewrite it before it'll actually appear on the mission setup thing. Yeah, it's still showing the fighter prefab until I fix these. Oh, actually, for now it's okay, I guess. That was actually instantiating the spawner group rather than a fighter, and then the spawner group was doing that thing where it flies up from the background and then spawning fighters. Ugh. But I think for now that'll work. Wrong one. So somewhere I'm going to have to say that if it is... Where is it now? At the start we're spawning fighters, the right number of fighters, and that's fine. Yeah, I guess that is very basic, but that's where we're doing it for now. Okay. If, what's it called? Yeah, if mission type equals fighter factory, then let's spawn one. Not sure where that'll put it. Let's see. And on the loading, campaign save and load. Here we're destroying. Yeah, if we're going from the mission back to the home base, I'm automatically destroying it, but don't want to quite do that. Alright, so if it's mission complete, destroy it, but that means if it's not mission complete, don't destroy it. So, assuming everything works that I just typed, Restream, the lowest number it ever shows is 1 because I have watch me work window open because I have to close it manually at the end. Right now it's showing 0, but I'm still streaming there, apparently. Maybe Restream lost connection to watch me work. I won't worry about it. It's quiet night. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, no errors. Great. So what I think I can do now is go here. If I play the fighter factory mission, I think it'll generate one. And that if I quit that mission without killing the factory, I think that'll still be there. And the code is generating factory every day, so there's going to be another one. Then I could do either mission and actually go in and blow it up, and that's when it'll disappear. Excuse me. So let's see. Okay, there it is. No fighters, though. Okay, let's see if I quit this. Oh yeah, it is actually still here. It's just not on the main map. Let me reattach it. Yeah, it's been moved around. I'm gonna have to replace it. Where is it? Okay. And what's the scriptable object thing have to say? It says there are only 2 occupied spaces, so there's actually 3, so we're not doing that correctly either. 99, should it have been higher than 99? Should be adding 2 per day. There are none here to kill. No, it's only adding 2 each day. Oh, I think it's only adding it, I think, at the time that they spawn, rather than the factory itself adding it every day, so we're gonna have to do that properly. But we're getting there. Let's just actually prove that we can kill it. And actually, where are the fighters? Should be 3 fighters, but there are none. Right now, if I quit, there should be no mission type clone surviving. Yeah. So that's correct. But the fighters aren't spawning in that level. I presume actually they're not spawning in the other level. Right. So I'm presuming I should see that the word spawning print 3 times to the console. Spawning, 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 but where are they? Oh, they're here, they're just off. Oh dear, what have I done? Oh, here we go. Oh, they're overlapping. There's 3 of them there. Okay, that's better. So why are they inactive though? Do it. That's a vector 2. I don't understand why they're coming in inactive. Unless... Huh. The prefab itself normalizes to being inactive. Oh, the same with the other one. I must have just done that sometime. Well, they seem okay. Alright, I think I could launch the factory mission with fighters and with the factory itself, and that they'd all be there and I could kill everything. A few missing things there, but essentially it's true. Frame rate's a bit tanky. So the first thing it's missing is active wingman 0. Huh. Alright, so I'm gonna have to actually have some active wingmen. That would help. No camera attached. I wonder if they're just cascading, if the one issue caused a few issues. Evidently there's a few more. Wait a minute. If there is none, or if I've more than one. Why is this even being called, actually? It should be if it's not null. Just undo changes. I have a feeling like it was working fine until this new situation, but basically that's for the wingman avatars on the right hand side. This line just makes the mouth of the first one start moving as if he's saying enemy spotted. Why do I have that there? Clearly I just want to say clearly. Clearly there is one. I was going to say clearly it should be not null, but on the other hand it's been working for a long time. I have a feeling that should be if it's not null and we have one or more wingmen. Instead it's if I don't have the script at all. Oh, that would be for the self-playing scene because I wanted the AI to be able to say that. Whereas when the player's around, it's always there. Alright, so that first part's just for the self-playing scene. It's kind of fine. Or if my active wingman is more than one. So So it seems like, even though I have a squad lead script, thinks I don't, because I probably haven't assigned it yet when the mission starts. These are all to do with, I think all those errors are to do with the same thing at least. Voice manager. Yeah. Oh no, alright, so this the squadron leader is assigned because I expected that to be null. It's happening 1, 2. Alright, it appears each of the enemies is actually calling this. The enemies shouldn't call this. Also, it's odd that this is now happening, whereas it wasn't happening a few minutes ago when I was loading into the scene with 3 other fighters. Maybe that's why I had them off for a frame, by default. Let me just delay turning them on. Write a coroutine to just wait a frame and then turn them on. Yield return you wait for end of frame. It's gonna have to take in a game object. Start coroutine, delay activation, give it the new enemy. Let's see what that does. You can see from my webcam that I'm really slouching. Also started. Okay, so that worked okay. Started putting in to-do notes as I go through. So save sector info and missions. That's gonna have to be done. It's handy to remember what steps I haven't taken yet in this particularly complicated activity. All right, let me. One sec. So let me just see if I can get away without using a coroutine. No. Alright, well, if that fixes the problem, let's just do it. Also going to give this time. Just so I can also give it like 5 minutes if I wanted to. Actually, now I should be able to set like 4 enemies. I did have to do it in 3s until a minute ago. Alright, so let's see if I can put 4 enemies in the patrol mission. Yep. I don't know how much use we're going to really make of missiles in the final game, but they're pretty good for testing quickly. I don't want missiles to be a totally spammy ability. Not like in the way I'm using them here. In fact, I think dogfighting is a lot more fun without missiles. Alright, so we can spawn the station. So the mission prefab, I think it does remember what place it's meant to have on the map. Yeah, my hollow map location int. So I'll be able to put it back on the map in the same place as it came from. So the home base manager will have to do that. This is where we load the credits if the enemy fighters is less than 0. That won't be the game's ultimate win condition, but it's the only thing we're tracking at the moment. Actually, what it does do is generate a new sector if we kill all enemy fighters, and if you're on the game's final sector, then it goes to credits. Total game sectors. But I only have one sector right now, so that's fine. So generate missions. And as I say here, when loading back to the home base, load the saved missions first and then generate new ones. So yeah, actually I probably don't want to keep the mission setup thing alive. I want to just save its info and then delete it. In the campaign save and load screen. In here. Yeah, so I'm going to extract that out somewhere more useful. Actually, since we're going to destroy it either way, let's make just if mission is not complete. That way I don't need that part. Yeah, so when I don't need to child. Actually, I am doing that, never mind. I do child, coming from the carrier into a mission, there's way more than just, well, there's two. There's more than just one mission script to save. Save mission to home base, we'll do that. So this is the place where I need to check if it's mission complete. But Save home base to mission. Need to update campaign missions. Alright, this is actually where I'm getting all the missions. Yeah, I'm almost about to duplicate code. I don't need to. So I already sort of had this set up and I've commented in what I need to do. So let's get that done. And what I was doing a second ago, I can actually just fold that in here. Where did they get childed? Yeah, this one line saves all the missions to well, doesn't save them, but it parents them, childs them all to the campaign save and load game object. So if the home base manager does it there, then probably the game director is going to have to do it on the other end. Then we destroy that. Yeah, to be honest, I don't need this code, I just need to update campaign missions. Take that code out. Oops. We're already gonna get that. So don't need that. The one function can do it whether we're going into or out of a mission. And then I'm destroying a specifically named thing, which is never good, because if I forget this and rename it, then I'm going to have a bug. So I'm going to do this handy trick that I like. While transform.child count is greater than 0, yeah. Destroy, actually it's got to be destroy immediate because destroy will destroy it on the next frame. Or at the end of this one, can't remember. Destroy immediate will get rid of it immediately. And if you're in a while loop, you definitely need to. You'll just crash the game in a while loop if you use destroy here. But I'm just gonna get the first child. Dot game object. So here, if I have 12 child objects, that'll be true. I'll have more than 0. I'll get the first one and destroy it. Then I'll only have 11 and come back here, get the first one, destroy it all the way until I have only 1 left. Get the first one of 1, destroy it. Then I'll have 0. This will be false, and I don't need that line anymore, and then we'll get out of it. So all I need to do is it's the PMC mission support script. Extraction. Actually, I don't need to do it here. The director can handle it when we start the level. So where do we assign mission setup script? There you go. Mission setup script dot transform dot set parent campaign save and load dot instance dot transform. So that'll keep it. That'll only happen once we get into the fighting level, but it'll happen at the start. So then when we leave it, the campaign save and load thing never gets destroyed. So when we leave it, it'll still be on. It's all these request errors. It'll still be on the campaign save and load script, and it'll wait until the next time we call. Call. What's it called? Update. Update campaign missions. Sure. So it'll wait for the next time we call that. Then it'll save the info and destroy itself. Then we'll wind up back in the home base with no mission setup scripts, and it'll generate all the ones that need to be, all the ones that have been saved. It'll generate them fresh, and then it'll generate its own 1 or 2 new missions for that day. That's what we're gonna do. Ow. So is there anything I just did that I can check this off? Check each mission child, save info only if those that aren't expired complete. Yeah, I think I've only commented that. Yeah, I've actually commented it and set it up pretty well. I just need to actually save it now. But I've laid the groundwork pretty well. Scaffolding, if you will. Loading back to home base, load saved missions first, then generate new. Yeah, that's still valid. Clear the code that generates a new fighter factory on campaign. daily. And it's on the campaign manager script. Yeah, so I have to remove this. So the generate missions thing is called every day, but there's just a part of it where I automatically make one of the missions into a new factory. Don't want to do that. Where am I actually doing the adding? On the mission setup script when it's awake. Yeah, so this mission setup scripts should only be called into existence in the home base, so just once a day. But when they are called into existence, they do their special thing. The only special thing we have so far is Fighter Factory adds enemy fighters every day. Just thinking, do I want to do it on the very first day? I guess it's fine. I guess. Seems a little unfair that you start a campaign with 100 fighters. It's not necessarily 100, it could be 53, could be 204. I don't know, we'll balance it. It doesn't, but it will be random to a degree, you won't know. So adding +2 doesn't really matter, but it does start tweaking the difficulty even before you manage to do anything. If they generate a fighter factory, if they don't generate one, then it's a little bit easier on you because on day one they haven't added fighters. It's just, maybe it's not. You know what, it's fine. Okay. Check each mission child. So if the last step was on the loading screen, child location, this is something to be straight. Well, don't exactly do that. All right. Check each mission child, because now it's the same for coming out of here or coming out of a mission. It's going to be the same logic. Check each mission child, save info, only of those that aren't expired complete. Where do I save that info though? I don't think I have a place set up to actually save it. I think this might be easier to comprehend if we go from the very start. Instead of sort of filling out the middle step, then the first step. I'm going to move this up here. Actually, I think by renaming that, I'm going to screw something up. I think. Hopefully not. I must have known that I was going to rename that at some stage. There's something else I can show you actually. I'm just going to. So here's the default save folder. There's our campaign information. I'm going to delete it. When I start this up, if so now we have no saves. If we have no saves, the continue button is now inactive. Can't continue. I just thought that was nice. You can see the credits. I can't skip them, but they're quick. Alright, so new game, let's clear that. Whatever it says to do, because I think I've commented in and debugged in pretty well. Whatever it says to do is what we got to do. So we generate the new campaign. We are kind of doing it, but to do is generate the sector and then save the sector info and missions. Okay. So when I say generate the new sector, all I've done is advance current sector from 0 to 1, basically. So we're in the first sector. If we kill all the fighters and there's 3 sectors in the whole game, this would then generate sector 2. But I'm not using this information right now. So this will have to generate the main base. I'm gonna make that a to-do because I'm not gonna do that right now. And set the number of enemy fighters. Let's just make it so it's not always 100. So alright, it generates a new sector. Then what happens? Save sector info. Collect info. Save all. There are references. Oh, it's invoked. Okay. That's why. So when we generated the new campaign, we had to generate the new campaign, then invoke save all. If we're saving, we save all. If we're saving to the mission, we save all. And if we save to quit, we save all. Okay. And that just saves, collect all the info into the file name. Collect all info includes what we're currently saving is okay, the current day, whether we're mid-mission or not. Then all the info about characters. Then campaign manager gets sector info. I think that's basically nothing right now. Oh, it's not nothing, but it's not a lot. Current sector, enemy fighters, enemy shuttles, base types. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I'm a few days ago we set up this base types thing where, e.g., if it has 1 in there, it'll be a fighter base. If it's another one, repair facility. Or yeah, 2 fighter bases and a repair facility. Sensor array would be 3, but we don't have any sensors. So okay, base types is kind of set up, but I know I'm not using it. Right, what time are we? Alright, so basically this is, I'm generating the campaign. This is where I want to generate the base, and I just want to keep it alive until it's killed by me. No other way. But it's going to be the same base in the same place. After that, what I'll want to do, probably won't be today, but I want to generate the base, but make it that it's not revealed. So it's actually there generating fighters, but we don't know where it is. And it'll be a mission reward from a patrol mission that actually tells us, reveals that. So we'll have to have a mission reward system as well. Man, you don't think there's much in this until you start doing it. Alright, so generating the new sector is the first thing. and that is here. So this is where we're just going to make up a string of base types. So how would that work? It could be a list of a list of integers, I guess. And we could pick one from the list and remove. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, we could pick the number 2 and remove it. So then when if we're picking a second base type, it can pick from 1, 3, or 4, but it can't pick 2 again. Okay. I'm just trying to think if I definitely only want one of each base type. I don't really see a problem. It might be a problem if you've like 6 base types and they're all fighter factories and nothing else, but I don't really see a problem with allowing 2 of them. Or I don't necessarily see a problem with saying this pirate sector is extremely focused on generating fighter types, and so generating fighters. So they're a bit lacking in repairing them. They're a bit lacking in their sensor and intelligence in the area, but they're very heavy on fighters, so you're going to face a lot of fighters. But you can think smart around that by trying to do your missions quick based on stealth, since they're not very good at, well, hit and run more than stealth, but not waiting around for their fighter reinforcements to show up. So it's like Sun Tzu says, fight the enemy where they aren't. Good old Sun Tzu. Yeah, I think even if it did generate all fighter bases, to a degree it seems like it might be an error, like, oh, it's bad coding to allow that. But on the other hand, the play result that it gives you is not bad. And I could just say, hey, if we're generating 6 base types total for this sector, do that. Then at the end, just check if they're all the same. And if they are all the same, just re-roll 2 of them. And if they're all the same, just re-roll 2 of them until they're not all the same. That would do it fine. Yeah, okay. Thinking out loud there, obviously. No one to bounce thoughts off of. No one in chat today. Okay. So what I need to do is make a base type string. Like that. Oh no, it's an int array, not a string array. So I'm just going to have a list for the moment. it'll be, I'm not going to say there's no way, but I can't think of a good quick way to make sure that the prefabs that I was setting up earlier, that there's one different int for each prefab that I put there and all that. I'm just going to say that 1 is the fighter factory, 2 is the other thing. There isn't another thing yet, we're just going to roll with the 1, so for now it's just a new integer array of 1. The number of bases could be, let's say it's 3 bases plus or minus 1. So it could be 2, 3, or 4. Plus the sector you're in. In that case, let's call it, it's going to be 2 bases plus the sector you're in plus or minus 1. So basically each sector you go to, there will likely be another enemy base in the next run. Okay. Number of enemy bases is going to be 2 plus sector. Actually, is current sector gone up from 0 yet? Let's see. I think it'll be 0 instead of 1 in the first place. Plus random range from -1 to so that'll be -1, 0, or 1, but it excludes the highest number, 2. Okay. For int for int I is 0, I is less than number of enemy bases, I plus plus, base types, add that is the int array, isn't it? No. Available base types. So I'm just going to pick one of the available base types, which at the moment is only going to be the fighter factory again and again. It's going to have to be toString. And add just a comma. Alright, now we've generated our base types. We haven't the code to create them based off this info yet, but we are generating it, and I think we're saving it. Let me just see what that gives us so far. Yeah, current sector is 0, so maybe I want to say 3. Because the current sector only goes up to 1 once we come in here. Current sector is now 1, and look, we've generated 3 base types of type fighter factory. Available base types is only that 1. Be 1 moment. Grand. So where does the current sector actually get added up? Will it, because I can just change that 2 to a 3 probably. Also this is subject to balancing later anyway. But that gets added when we generate new sector. Oh, you know what? Stupid me. I'm just gonna put that at the top. Yeah, I was like, it's somewhere else in the code. It was 2 lines down. Alright, so that'll work satisfactorily. So we are saving. Or are we saving it? Let's see, I could figure out if we're saving it by, if we press continue, there should be 111. Yeah, it's 111. So this is the one we just loaded. It's still day 0. It's 102 fighters. So that's the one. Now we've got to turn that 111 into 3 different bases. But it could be 2 or it could be 4 based on when we load the campaign. I don't know if that's great actually, because I might want to put a better curve on that algorithm, because 4 is obviously twice as hard as 2, but 2 capital ship or two fighter factories probably be harder than 2 sensor factories. I don't know, the trick will be to make all the strategic bases worth roughly the same, and the way they interact, the way they combine is what's interesting. But 4 fighter factories is definitely twice as hard as 2 fighter factories, so you don't want that wide a difficulty gap on your first mission, I guess. Yeah, might as well fix it now. Number of enemy bases. So it's going to be 3 plus. Could just make it 0 to 1, so it will be 3 or 4. Next time it'll be 4 or 5, 5 or 6. Let's just do that for now. Actually, just looks easier to read. So it's going to be 3 plus the current sector is 1, so it's actually going to be 4 plus or minus 1. Actually, it's not plus or minus 1. It's... yeah, let's go. 2 plus current sector is 3, and either add 1 or don't. So it's going to be 3 or 4. Enemy fighters. I'll just make it a random number around that, but oops. Enemy fighters by random range from 3/4 up to 1 1/4. Can I cast that as an int? Yeah, fine. So we're generating a new sector. Okay. I'm actually going to make that more like 10 fighters. Just so we can beat the sector with just a few missiles and a couple of missions for now. So it was still 10. Oh no, wait, I haven't done anything to it yet. Okay, so it picks 11. If I do it again, it could be anywhere from, I'm not sure if it'll be 7 or 8 as the lowest number. 7 is the lowest number. Yeah, that's fine. So we go here, should be 9. Yeah, 7 plus the 2 we generated. Okay, we're getting there. What was the next part of this? We're generating a very lame sector right now, but we are doing it. So save the sector info and missions. So get sector info. Alright, we are saving the base types. I wonder what to do when a base type is killed. Because when I killed a factory, actually I don't, maybe that string only needs to be there. Yeah, because the base types, yeah, I'm only going to use that string, like the 1, 1, 1, 1. I'm only going to use that at the very first day in a new sector. From then on, I'm saving the mission types to rely on that info. And if I kill a base that completes that mission, then I just don't load it back onto the map. So I only need that string once. To generate missions from. Okay. Wait, does that make sense? I think what I've just said is a lie based on how I'm doing this. Don't need that. So from generating missions every day, I think. Yeah. Right, so this is a lot of the crappy code. So while I might have the number 1 representing a base, it doesn't tell me where it is or if it's alive or not. If I take the number 1 out, I need to know a lot about it. And it's the mission setup scripts that hold that information. So that's why generating missions is going to be important. Okay, so this is actually where I'm just going to need to do this. Load saved missions first, then generate new. So, got to do these things. What's in here can largely leave. A lot of it will change in the next few minutes. I think I just need to put this code, that's the one that generates fighter factory, I just need to put that somewhere else. Generating the new sector. Part of the base types. Right, but I'm not going to have prefabs in the loading screen. Save mission setup for each. That's the trick here. So I don't need prefabs. Just need mission setups, and then I need to save their info. Wait, sorry, the generate new sector happens in the home base, not in the loading screen. Really? Oh no, yeah, sorry, it can happen there. Yeah, and it also happens in the loading screen. Okay. So can't count on prefabs being around, so yeah, I don't need I should just remember that this could be in the loading screen or it could be in the home base at the moment. I could restructure and get a bit more rigid about that, but essentially I just want to... I have a string representing a few bases, but I don't know where they are. They will all be alive, obviously, at the start. They won't be revealed, I guess, at the start. So... we already have a for loop there, I don't need... If... oh well, I could store that number and then check each. Or I'll just go through an array. So a string array of individual bases. Once I've got that string that's comma separated. Wait, if I'm using it here, do I ever need it again? It's not gonna, it'll work, so. Base types dot split according to a new char array, which just contains commas and string. Ah, come on. Not a send message. I was having this trouble with char arrays. Okay, split it according to a string array. And the string is a comma. And strings split. Ah, come on. String separate, and it's, okay, I need to say system.string split options apparently. Now. Didn't have to in mono develop. But, okay. Now. Not if, sorry, for. I is fuck off. Oh, it can't be I, right? So let's make this J. We already used I. Fucking hell. J less than individual bases dot length. J plus plus. Oh my god. What's a J value? I don't think I wrote that anywhere. Okay. Base type equals int 32. What library do I need? System. system with no dot. Okay, int 32. Okay, dot parse. Individual bases j, not j. God, why does it keep doing that? Still got a problem with j. Ah, I know why it did it. I didn't say for int j. That's why it keeps trying to do other things. And that shouldn't be a comma, it should be semicolon. When you start using system, I think you can't use random.range anymore. You have to go specify which random. I'm using a lot of it, apparently. Okay. If the base type is 1, which it will be in this case, okay. Now what do I do with this? I guess I need to save all the mission setups and their string info as well. Okay, we are at time. Alright, so in the same way that I go like to each characters and I say collect info, probably. Go like collect all procedural characters data. For each one of them I go in somewhere. Yeah, collect info. And I take out all the relevant info and add commas. That's what I'm going to have to do with mission setup scripts when I generate the campaign for the first time. Then save that data. Then every time I save, I'm going to have to update that for whether the mission type has been completed or adjusted or whatever. Particularly the mission type so that it comes back. So the fighter factory will come back. And so it can be revealed. Because it's not going to be revealed at the start, but once it is, it needs to know that and come back appropriately. Yeah. And obviously once it's destroyed, it needs to not load every time we come back. But I think it's still okay to save its data as destroyed, because when we finish the sector, I guess we'll have stats on what you achieved, and probably have to show each mission type that you've beaten. A mission type includes a base destruction. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do now, end the stream, but save the fighter factory. Yeah, that'll have to be more random as well. I'm just gonna save this along with all the campaign info, and then we're gonna load all the campaign info. Let me just play through once, see if there's no errors. So everything we were just looking at the last 20 minutes has been in generate new campaign sort of part of this. So we will go generate new campaign to do generate the new sector, and kind of doing that. Then to do save sector info and missions, I'm about to do that. Then campaign, it loads home base, and so in load home base, it'll load up the campaign info. And yeah, here's a to-do, set up the base types, etc. So we're going to load in the mission setups that we've saved. Okay, so that'll be done by Monday. I want to finish that tonight if possible, although it is now 10 p.m. But I have it fresh in my mind, so I want to keep going. Any other news? We're still on Square Enix Collective. A vote there would be awesome. We're on for one more week. What day is today? Yeah, next Monday to I think Sunday will be our last week, so we've like 10 more days on it. Oh my god, the Steam Summer Sale just started, so there's tons of games to buy. I wanted to get Homeworld Deserts of Karak and then GOG. I prefer to buy from GOG than Steam if possible, because I don't want to spend all my money with the guys who own almost everything. So they're both 66% off on that game and on Homeworld Remastered. I think they must have known about the other one, whoever chose first. Or else actually maybe it was more like the publisher decided to put the same deal on in the same place, or in two different places, same deal at the same time. Gearbox, the publisher. And yeah, I have no other particular news. If you are in Dublin, I've got that workshop coming up on starting game dev businesses on July 8th. If you're in Irish Game Dev Facebook group, where you look back a few tweets on my @KMurphyGames, should be linked in the video, on the channel info, wherever you're viewing from. Actually, that'll link to RetroNeo Games one, but you'll see my profile on it as well. It's @KMurphyGames anyway. Murphy, not. I don't know if I said that clearly. So that'll be on July 8th. That's €40 to attend. It's a workshop, half day, well, 5 hours, including lunch. Yeah, Square Enix votes are what I want most right now for Christmas, or in the next week, so not Christmas. And I had better sign off because I'm rambling, as I do every single time. See you back on Monday at 3 p.m. we will still be doing something to do with this, but I couldn't rightly tell you right now what it'll be. Should have a lot of this built out. Actually, let's see it. That'll be done for sure by Monday. So we'll be generating good sectors. We'll probably work on hiding the missions and then discovering them as a reward from a different mission. Be able to destroy the factory from the strategy layer. I'll have that done probably in the next few minutes. So then we'll actually have some of these things done. So I'll wait till next time to actually tab them in as complete. And I guess we'll work on... Yeah, once that is done, actually, we'll be very close to fully finishing this. And then we'll have our full game scaffolding, because you can even now win the game and go back to the credits. So we'll have our full scaffolding. So we'll flesh it out from there. Okay, talk to you Monday, 3 p.m. Irish time. See you then. Where's the stop button? There it is. Bye. Didn't press it, did I? Damn. Bye.